The topic of the talk today is the art of selling, understanding what people don't want to buy. And I put it this way, it's very unusual that I give this talk in a technology institute where probably most of you would not become salespeople all your life, but I'll prove it to you how you guys will be salespeople till the end of the talk, right? I start with a quote. The cowards never started and the weak died along the way. That leaves us, ladies and gentlemen, us. Has anyone heard this quote earlier? There's a quote by Phil Knight, who's the founder of Nike, in his book Shoe Dog. And this has been like my mantra in all the resilient times I've been through, right? I have, I'd like to call it an interesting story I've had, right? I'm Kishan Panpalia. I'm one of the founding members at a company called Pepper Content. Uh, I grew up in a place called Akola, which is eastern Maharashtra, uh, small tier 4 town, right? Grew up at the heart of frugal innovation to what I call as Jugaad. And if you guys don't believe me, I'll just show you a quick few snaps of what Jugaad looked like around which I grew, right? Like literally the heart of frugal innovation. Let me pull in some images around me, right? You see someone sleeping in the train like that. See people adjusting themselves. That's a fruit carrot. And yeah, that's your parking shed, right? Happened to study for JEE like most of you guys. Went to BITS Pilani. Realized one thing. I was the topper in my class, and now I was amidst a bunch of all the toppers of their own classes. So there's no means of differentiation that you find out. Happened to meet a couple of college seniors who were starting something in the content space. I hardly even knew, like I barely knew to speak English well that way around. And I joined this company called Pepper Content, right? I can very proudly say, last 7 years into the journey, Pepper is one of the largest content platforms globally. We've had powered close to around 150,000 plus creators across the board, and now operating, building a global company out of India. We work with around 500 plus enterprise company to the likes of Unilever, P&G, Adobe, Amazon, so of the world. And yeah, that's pretty much some parts to our credibility. But I'd like to tell you more about what has been my experience with selling, right? And I showed you the frugal innovation part because that's where the salesperson in me comes from, right? And at Pepper, this bunch of college seniors just took me because I think, and they thought that I could sell well. And now the next few things that I'm going to speak of are basically what I call as the story of my experiments with selling, basically, right? So let me first of all prove to you guys why each of you is a salesperson, right? And sales is just not a profession. We're all here selling ourselves. How many of you are sitting for placements this year or have sat for placements this year? Yeah, a few of you guys. Okay. We all have convinced our kids to eat the veggies in their plates, right? The leftover veggies in their plates. That's sales, right? You've all convinced your friend to start a new activity. That's probably sales as well. How many of you have had your girlfriend or boyfriend proposals in the hall? Okay, perfect. I see other friends pointing out, but yeah, that's sales too. Perfectly, right? Now, when we look at sales, right, I've had a few learnings, very interconnected learnings with each other, where I've realized that no one wants to get sold, right? We all get those insurance calls, we all get those bank fraud calls, maybe in that case, and everyone is trying to sell something to us. No one likes those, right? But now, just understanding people still buy products. So I'd love to run a quick experiment with you guys. Just hold on with me. Please answer what I ask you guys. It's gonna be a A or a B. Just a quick A or a B. Okay, let's go next. Which water bottle would you buy given these two water bottles? Quick, quick, quick. Okay. If you get to buy something for rupees 150 and you get to buy something for rupees 200 with a 50 rupees cashback on it, which would you buy? If you get to buy something for a fixed price of rupees 100, but you get to buy something else where you pay whatever you want with a minimum rupees 50, which one would you take? Okay. And your classic cinema popcorn, right? Out of A, B, and C, which one would you buy? Fantastic. Thank you. I got my answers. Right. You know, the first thing, all of you chose an A, and then everyone thought the B looks beautiful. And I saw a lot of people answering a B after that. Trust in packaging wins a lot of people. The second is a reverse discount methodology. I don't need to say much about it. All your e-commerce companies doing the same right now. The third one is what I call a you decide dilemma, where there have been experiments proven that pay what you want with a minimum rupees 50 has earned much more money than a fixed price of rupees 100 because more people align to pay for the same. And the fourth thing is what we call as a decoy effect. The medium one is just a decoy which no one buys but is just there to sell the larger one. I hope you've all faced this, right? Perfect. Now, given all of these learnings together, I'm just going to put out some 5 learnings, quick few snapshots, very simple examples ahead for you guys to remember what you were getting sold and what you usually buy, right? So the first learning I've had is that people don't buy features. What they buy is stories, right? See, I heard someone saying this, facts tell, stories sell. Right? We all don't like to know about, I'll ask you a quick question. How many of you even care about what the full form of mAh of your battery means? How many of you even know the full form of mAh? Hardly a few of you guys. You all are using smartphones, right? You care about how many hours it's going to last you, basically, right? And I'll give you a quick example. When Steve Jobs launched iPod, he never said you have 5 GB storage in your pocket. No. Do you know what did he say? What was the launch line of iPod? 1,000 songs in your pocket, right? People care about that. People care about what they are going to do when they get an outcome from what you're going to sell to them. And I'll also give you an example of at Pepper, right? When we were selling, no one cared about just content. I mean, when we were selling content, we're selling blogs, articles, videos, everything. They didn't care about that. They cared about, hey, what would storytelling do to our company? What would content actually bring us? That's what people cared about, right? And this is the first principle I put in, that people don't buy features, they buy stories, right? Okay, let me put the second one, and I have some interesting examples for you guys. Mostly the Gen Z in the audience would relate, right? But second one, people are too lazy for choices. They want decisions, right? I'll put an example. How many of you order from Swiggy or Zomato? Perfect. Almost all of you guys. Have you ever been in a dilemma of opening the store and opening the restaurant and then choosing what to eat today? Perfectly, yes. Almost all of you. 100%, right? Have you been in restaurants with your friends, taking a menu card in your hand with 200 items in it and then choosing, hey, aaj kya khaye? Right? That's a dilemma. It's a dilemma, right? I mean, I can even give you like hundreds of examples where every single day, because there's no one to take the decision on behalf of us as human beings, we are a very frightened breed of people, right? We don't want to take our own decisions. We want someone to tell us, hey, yes, you can have this. This is a good option. Even if that's not good, we just want someone to tell us that it is good, right? And I'll give you an example of this company we all at some point in time have used. It's Netflix. Do you know 70% plus of the content that is watched on Netflix is from the recommended feed of Netflix? It doesn't come from people coming and searching for their own movies or series in that case. And over $1 billion in revenue from this. People have all the inertia in the world to not give you time for them to make a decision. You have to tell them what is right for them. I'm pretty sure you might have all visited a local clothing shop. There's someone standing there and saying, sir, ye bahut badhiya lag raha hai. I hope you understand. Have you ever seen a clothing shop without a salespeople over there? It cannot work. People want validation. That's what they seek, right? Let's go to the third one, right? It's about people don't buy products. They buy identity. I'll give you an example. You might have all seen that company. I don't know if all of you know about it. But let me start with an example of this company called Supreme. How many of you know Supreme? The Gen Z in the crowd raising hands, right? Perfect. Oh, of course. Most of you guys know this. Perfect. With Supreme, there's this one brick that Supreme sold. It is a normal brick, guys. It's a brick, normal brick. It was sold for $30 because it was a Supreme brick. The last I checked on eBay, it was getting resold for over $1,000. Just one brick. $1,000, almost a lakh rupees. Do you know why? Because people don't buy Supreme. Do you know what they buy? They buy the cult. They buy the cult of exclusivity. They buy the cult of rebellion. That's what Supreme is known for. I see a couple of guys doing this, right? Perfect. That Supreme stands for, basically. And very interesting, there are a lot of companies in India. There's a company I know of, it's called Jaywalking. I mean, some of the Gen Zs here would know that, right? Jaywalking sells t-shirts. It's a normal t-shirt, but people buy the cult of rebellion, again, in this case. But people care about what identity are they gonna get after they get associated with a particular company. Don't worry, these are not all examples that you're gonna get to sell something always. I'll come in the end to tell you how these are literally everyday use cases for yourselves, basically, right? But let me come to the fourth learning, right? People don't want to spend. They want to invest. I'll give an example again here. Now, for a Rolex, it doesn't sell watches. Rolex doesn't sell watches. It sells status. It sells legacy. It sells heirloom. Do you know heirloom? I mean, I have a Rolex. My dad had it. He gifted it to me. I'm going to give it to my children and them to their children. People don't buy Rolex like that. And you know, the older the Rolex is, the higher price it gets. People want to keep on investing money in that. Because people care about what the Rolex made them look. We all buy these guys. We are all surrounded by brands these days. You cannot get out of it. We care about what we are made looked at. And the fifth learning I've had is about people don't buy solutions, they buy aspirations. They're all interconnected learnings, okay? These are not independent learnings of each other. But the way I articulate is into 5 points. The fifth point that I put up is people don't buy solutions, they buy aspirations. Interesting company again, Nike, we all know it. The logo of Nike with the slogan, just do it, right? Nike has never sold shoes. If you have ever seen a Nike ad, it has never been about this is a shoe with a great feature. It's never that. It's about great athletes wear us. You can be the great athlete. It's about once you get a Nike, what you can become. Right? So that's what people put in is aspirations. People care about what they become after they've bought your product. Interesting, right? I mean, I always put it this way that selling isn't about transactions, it's about transformations, right? Now let me bring all these 5 examples to very real life examples for all of you guys, every single day that we all face. And I'm just going to relate that and going to probably end the talk there. But we all have been those kids who didn't want to go to school that particular morning. One fine morning we came out and we said, Mummy, school nahi jana hai, right? Do you know, did your mom ever tell you, or did your dad ever tell you, or did any one of you, any of them ever tell you, don't go to school because our money will be wasted? Did they ever tell you that? What did they say? You won't have a great future. You're going to miss on something bright. That's what they said. They sold your promise that particular morning, and that's why you went to school. That FOMO of I'm going to miss out on something because if I don't go to school, they sold you that. A second example of, you know, when we choose restaurants to go with friends around us, right? If a friend asks you, hey, where do you think we should go to eat today? Is that friend actually expecting you telling a 20 list of restaurants to them? What are they expecting? They're expecting that one restaurant saying, hey, I know the food is going to be great, let's go there. Choice dilemma, right? All of you, there's a Gen Z problem across, guys. I'm a part of the Gen Z as well, it's okay. Right? A third example I'll put it is when you buy sneakers. I'm pretty sure in the room, many of you guys have bought sneakers, right? It's a very Gen Z phenomena. We never buy the gums and the soles of the sneakers. We bought it for a particular identity, right? And then, when it comes to investment, when we buy a home, when our family plans to buy a home, they actually are not putting their money for the brick and mortar. They're putting their money for the memories that they're going to make. Effectively, the dreams of having a home, of having a place you can call yours. Ever gone to a site like a builder's site where new houses are being sold? Do they ever tell you you're gonna buy brick and mortar? They always tell you you're gonna buy a better future. You're gonna buy a better identity for yourselves, for that matter. So when you're all selling, you're not just selling a product. You're actually giving people the confidence to be better, and not just a product in everyday thing. Ever proposed your girlfriend, you have given them the confidence to have a better future together, right? Ever consoled a friend, you have given them the confidence of saying, you go ahead, I'm there behind you, no worries, not happen. It's all part of selling. We are all selling every single day. We have been selling all our lives. We are going to be selling for all our lives. We are going to be selling ourselves, our products, our identities. We are going to be selling everyone around us as well. Right? And let me tell you, selling is not easy. Selling is not easy. But it's every time, it's about just showing up. It's about showing up fully, authentically, relentlessly. That I put it this way. I mean, it was never easy, it will never be easy. But you got to try for it. I know most of the techies in the room don't believe that they want to ever become a salesperson. Let me tell you, you have your jobs to be taken care of, guys. And you guys got to sell yourselves. So selling, I think, is one of the most important things, irrespective of the profession you are in, irrespective of the jobs you are in, irrespective of the place you are in, and irrespective of the people you are with. Selling is important. And it's about showing up. Because remember, the cowards never started and the weak died along the way. That leaves us, ladies and gentlemen, us and us to sell. Cool, that's my time. Thank you so much, guys.